The United Nations International Maritime Organization, many of you know it as IMO, is meeting to decide on what could be the world's first emissions fee, levy, tax, whatever you want to call it. Of course, they're going to tell you that this is not a tax, it's just a levy. But when we're talking about a $13 billion fee being applied to everything you use that is shipped across the world, everything you wear, everything you eat, it's certainly going to feel like a tax to you and I. The net zero framework. This net zero framework would apply to every ship over 5,000 tons, which I guess you could say covers about 85% of global shipments. Under this plan, they would levy a fee of about $100 per ton of CO2 for every ship that's not in compliance. As the plan goes on, though, that $100 fee per ton of CO2 goes up to $380. Now, the total of this is estimated to only be about $11 to $13 billion a year that would then go to the IMO, which is a UN special organization. It goes into what they would refer to as the IMO Net Zero Fund. And this fund would then reward people who are within climate compliance with the other people's money. So this fund is basically going to be rewarding low emission ships, building green fuel funds, supporting training programs on climate control, and then of course help developing countries with what they consider a just transformation. This money gives the IMO a considerable amount of financial leverage. This financial leverage to the UN would help determine who wins, who loses, and in general, how global trade evolves. It makes the UN no longer a regulator, and it turns the UN into a funding power. As this levy system plays out, there's another UN initiative that's stepping in as well. It's called the UN Tax Convention. Now, this is supposed to be setting collective and cooperative tax rules between countries. It doesn't create a global tax yet, although what the IMO is doing is creating a global tax for this global authority. What it's actually doing is laying the groundwork for global fiscal rules. When you connect this with the IMO and this central tax cooperative, whatever they want to call it, what you're actually seeing is a pattern of fiscal centralization emerging, global centralization of fiscal rules. Now let's be real here, guys. Taxation is the backbone of power. It's basically what gives governments control over currencies, products, every aspect of your life. So what the IMO is actually doing here is getting a foothold in global governance. They're getting a foothold by collecting billions of dollars a year and then choosing who they want to succeed, and levying, fining, taxing those that they don't want to succeed. The fact that they're taxing carbon, though, you have to give it to them. That's one of the smartest ideas ever. We are in a carbon ecology. Everything is made out of carbon. If you start taxing carbon, you can tax the entire world systematically. And the more you tax them, the more they have to abide by your rules, the more centralized the governance of our societies become. It's kind of like, you have all these states have all these rules. Federal government has its rules. If a state doesn't want to go along with the federal government's rules, the federal government has the opportunity of sending the military in to enforce the federal rules. Eisenhower did it in Arkansas when they wouldn't allow black children into their schools. He sent the army in. He sent the airborne in and said, you're going to let them into the school because it's a federal law. That power is slowly being given to the United Nations. What's the difference, right? We're United States. Let's be a part of the United Nations. It's freaking scary if you ask me. They're greenwashing it, hiding it behind a green label.